played 23 professional seasons, CFL and NFL.
Sick.
And let's see, 5 straight CFL titles.
Yeah.
It won MVP of 2 championship games, 2 times. Had 21,000 passing yards, 144 touchdowns in 6 seasons in the CFL. Signed with the Oilers in '84. Holds 37 records still to this day with the Oilers Titans franchise. And this is an amazing one. This one I think is phenomenal. Only a player in both CFL and NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That is crazy that you're the only player that's played in both of them to establish a long enough career and records and so forth to be an NFL Hall of Famer. So here's the thing. On the show, what I love to do is I love to talk about with the athletes. We've interviewed maybe 200 athletes now. And these are the stats that all the fans know. This is what kind of what you did. What I like to talk about is a little bit more of who you are versus what you did. And I like to talk about, I call it maybe behind the scenes a little bit. Who is the Warren Moon that maybe we as the fans don't get to see because we saw you play the game, we saw you compete, we saw that stuff, right? Maybe I have to ask it this way: Who is Warren Moon? Maybe the father. When I say the word father, what does that mean to you?
Caregiver.
Caregiver.
And that encompasses a whole lot of things. That encompasses the lifestyle that they live. It encompasses the values that you teach them. It encompasses the manners that you teach them, their ambitions and goals, what they want to do in life, and how you can help provide that for them or help them through that journey. So all those different things. Caregiver.
Yeah, that's a good word. As a father, as a parent, the word caregiver. You talk about instilling ambition. Obviously, I would say maybe to a certain degree, you probably were born with an extra dose of ambition and drive. When you see that as a father, maybe in some of your children that have different levels of it, do you want to put more in, or do you want them not to have that same crazy, ambitious drive that you had?
Yeah, it's a fine line that you run, because I didn't come from much. My mother was a single mom basically from the time I was 7 years old because my dad passed away, and so she kind of provided for us herself, and so we didn't have a whole lot, but we never felt like we were poor.
Right.
But then once you have kids of your own, you want to provide them everything that you weren't able to get.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure you're not giving them too much, because you want them to still have that hunger and that desire to be successful, and it's really that hunger. You don't want them to lose that.
Yeah.
So that's the fine line you always run when you have kids, that you don't want to give them too much, but you want to give them enough of the things that you probably didn't have when you were growing up.
Last question on maybe being a father is, what would you say to a young man that is maybe about to have his first child, boy or girl, whatever it may be, and he's about to have his first child? What would be some advice you would give that about soon to be father?
You've got to help the mom.
Help the mom.
You've got to share in the process. You can't make it all her process. Whether it's at night, you shift. Certain nights you be the one to feed the baby late, or you be the one to feed the baby early and let her sleep. You don't want one person to get run down through this whole process and make it a negative experience. So you've got to make it a team effort when you have a baby, especially that first one.
Yeah.
Because it is an eye-opening awakening, and you are. Not only it's an eye-opening awakening because your eyes are going to be open a lot because you're not getting a lot of sleep, right?
Yeah.
And it's something it's hard to prepare for.
Yeah,
because you never know when that baby's going to wake up, or when they're going to start moving around, and you never really sleep well that first year because every time they move, you think they're getting ready to get up, and you're always on alert. So that's my biggest advice to any man that has a baby with a woman, is sharing the upbringing, especially those first.
The responsibilities, the upbringing of it is share.
Yeah.
You used a word a while ago that I like, and it's a common thread with athletes, and it's the word teamwork. You used it when you were describing the partnership with the wife there. What is teamwork on the football field? How is that transferred over into your relationships with understanding how teamwork works and does not work sometimes with teamwork?
Yeah, that's one of the great things about team sports, is it teaches you so many good lessons about how life works anyway. Even if you don't ever get to a professional level, that's why I always encourage my kids to play sports, so they can learn all the lessons that sports teach you as they get ready for whatever it is they're going to do in life. And you're going to have to learn to work as a team no matter what you do, whether it's working in an office, whether it's working at a school or working in a hospital, whatever it might be, unless you have a standalone business where nobody else works with you.
But you have to have no customers.
Exactly.
Even that's teamwork.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So you have to learn how to work together with people and share ideas. Listen. You got to really be a good listener.
Right.
You can't think you know it all or can do it all your way. You better listen to the people that work for you and take their suggestions so they feel like they're a part of what's going on here.
I was going to ask you that question, but I think we just answered there, which is like, what is an ingredient that makes up a great team member? And you kind of hit on it there, which was listening to it. As a quarterback, right? You're in the huddle. You're the leader. Naturally, even sometimes when there's other, maybe on the football team, there are leaders as well, but just that position commands leadership side. What is it? How does a leader inside of a team or community become a better listener to his team?
I don't know how you become a better listener if you're already a pretty good listener. I was always a pretty good listener, so I didn't think I needed to be a better one. But I think you just have to make the effort to listen if you're not a good listener, because believe it or not, your employees or your teammates or whoever might have some good suggestions. Now, do you have to use them all? No, but you at least should hear what they have to say and figure out maybe this is something I can incorporate into making us better. So, I had a really good, I had to be a good listener for Chris Carter, who I played with in Minnesota, because he was always open. He was never not covered, so I had to take all that in. But I still had to understand I had to go through my progressions and where to get the ball, but I knew where I needed to go when I needed the big play, because he was a guy that was going to make sure he got open or make sure he made the play even if he wasn't open.
Shifting on that, how many of your receivers would come back and swear that they were open?
Every series. Every series to the sideline, somebody was open that I didn't see. But you want guys to be like that. You want guys that want the ball. You want guys that want to make the big plays. And you got to remember, a receiver, if he touches the ball 6 to 8 times in a ball game, that's a lot of touches for him. Where a running back will get it 20, 25 times in a game. Quarterback touches it every play of the game. So I understand why these guys want more opportunities, because they don't see the ball as much because there's so many of them and the ball has to be spread around. But I want guys that want the ball.
It was unique when I was talking to Chris, actually. He was talking about teamwork a little bit, and he said football is one of the unique ones that so many people are involved. He said even from a receiver standpoint, he's like, so many people have to do their job, and they have to do their job almost perfectly for me to even be able to get the ball. And he said when as a receiver you think about it from that perspective, it gives you a lot of humbleness, and to realize that every lineman, the center, the quarterback, the running back coming up the block, whatever it is, right? They all have to do their job almost perfect for him to be able to even get the chance to get the ball.
That's why I think it's the ultimate team sport, because you have so many different pieces working that all have to work in unison in order to make a successful play. And if one guy, like you said, messes up, it could screw up the whole play. So
you take like baseball, there might be an outs that happen that the outfielder never even moved. But there was 3 outs happened, or double play happened, and the outfielder never actually moved.
If the pitcher pitches the ball and the hitter hits it over the fence, there's nothing those other guys can do about that. Or the guys on the bench can't do anything about that either. But in football, everybody has to be on the same page in order to make a play work. And the same thing on the defense. Everybody's got to execute on defense in order to stop a play. So, it's a great team sport.
Let me ask you this: when you were growing up, was there any other sports that you were playing, or were you always football?
I played them all.
You played them all?
Baseball was probably my best sport.
Really? I was going to ask you that.
But it was too slow for me.
Well, first of all, what position were you playing?
I played shortstop.
Shortstop? That's the fastest position you're going to get.
I played left field and a little center field, but mostly shortstop.
And you played growing up? And
I didn't want to pitch because I didn't want to ruin my arm for football.
For football?
Yeah.
And so you were playing kind of all the sports going through high school?
Basketball is my favorite sport.
Okay, so baseball was the one you were maybe best at. Basketball was your favorite one to play. What was football then?
I was born to play that.
You were created to play it. Yeah. Wow.
I was born to play the position that I played.
Yeah.
Basically because of my my experiences growing up and my upbringing, it just made me kind of a natural leader, and I was a natural organizer, and that's kind of what a quarterback is. He's a leader, he's an organizer, and I love pressure situations. So,
you also, I would notice just from the interview, you have as a leader, there's different types of leaders, and to me, your leadership is a very calming leadership, which is I would guess extremely important in the huddles, in those pressure cooker, fourth downs and so forth. That calmness probably helps.
I watched certain quarterbacks growing up, like Roger Staubach and Roman Gabriel, who was in L.A. as the Rams quarterback when I was growing up in L.A., and they always had a very calm demeanor. And I always felt like that's what you needed to have happen for you as a quarterback, because you had all this chaos going on around you. You got defensive players running and flying all over the place. You got all these collisions going on around you as a quarterback in the pocket. But somebody's got to be that calming influence for the team when things are either going good, keep everybody calm, or when things are going bad, keep everybody calm. And if they can look over at me and see that I'm okay,
it's okay,
who I'm one of the more important players on the team, if he's okay, then we're going to be okay.
We're going to make it. We're going to get through this. Yeah, you definitely have that natural, and I think it's a natural. I'm sure you groomed it and helped guide it as well, but it's definitely a natural.
Yeah. And I think I learned a lot of that from my mom, because she was that way, and with everything that she had to deal with 6 kids and not having a dad around and all that, the way she handled everything, you would have never thought there was anything wrong.
Anything wrong in the world.
Yeah, she just very calm demeanor, and she just went about her business.
How important do you think that is? Like you look at, I know family's super important to you, and it seems like to a certain degree the families are almost torn apart to a certain degree, and single moms are so prevalent now in our society. To me, I was super fortunate to grow up with a family with a mom and a dad, and they're still married to this day. To have that example, which a lot of people don't have now. How important do you think that family dynamic and structure is in our country today?
It's very important, because you need 2 people. First of all, to bounce things off of, to have a balance where if you're saying something to your kid on your side of it, you got to be able to have somebody else to back you up on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna try and overrun you as a single parent. You know? Because you have so many other responsibilities. But if you have that support system, and you guys have like a check and balance system, then the kids can't play those games on you.
Right.
So that communication is very, very important. And I'm just amazed with the way my mother was able to handle it.
I know, it's amazing looking
herself,
back. With 6 kids.
She never remarried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can, if you don't mind, I was going to talk to you a little bit about faith, because faith is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Was it young as you got older? Where did it come from?
It came from my mom.
From your mom as well.
I mean, we were going to church every Sunday. We were going to Bible study. We were going to vacation Bible school in the summer.
Bible school, VBS.
So yeah, faith has always been something big in our family, not just in myself, and it was established in me at a very, very young age. So it's something that I don't, wear on my sleeve, or I'm not out preaching to anybody to be a certain way, but I know inside of me what the Lord means to me.
Yeah. It's very, very powerful. I was going to ask you a question. I was going to ask you the question of, who would you say is one of the leaders or people you look up to, mentors, and I'm sure you have a list of them, but my gut tells you right now you would say your mom would have to be one of them.
She'd be number one.
Yeah.
And then I had certain coaches in my life growing up that played those parts, because that's one of the reasons she got me involved in sports. I was always at home as a young boy with nothing but women around. So she got me involved in the sports, not only to be around other boys, but to be around other men and other mentor type influences in my life. So a lot of my coaches in Pop Warner, in high school, in college, Canada, NFL, and I'm still in contact with a lot of them because they all meant a whole lot to me growing up.
Was there any other point while you were in these sports, basketball, baseball, football, all the way through, was there ever a point you can look back on that you felt like you really just wanted to throw the towel in, where you just got, dude, this is it, I'm done, I can't take this anymore? And what I really want to get to is just trying to help people. How did you overcome that situation, if it ever hit you like that?
I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it goes back to my mother.
I love it.
The way the hand that she was dealt,
Yeah.
She could have gave up.
Yeah, she could have.
You know, but she didn't. And
Yeah.
she went back to school. She became a nurse.
Wow.
She worked 2 shifts. She did all these different things to make sure we always had food on the table. We had clean clothes. I always had the equipment I needed for football. I don't know how she was able to do it, but she did it. So to watch her not quit never gave me the idea to ever want to quit on anything. So even though my journey was very, very tough trying to play quarterback back in the days when I was trying to play it and people were telling me I couldn't, I always looked to her to say, if she could do it, I can do it. And there was a time I wanted to leave the University of Washington because things got so bad my first year.
Yeah.
But I called her up and told her I was thinking about transfer, and she said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You made the decision to go there. The same thing could happen if you go to another school. So what are you going to do then? You're just going to keep moving around every time things get tough? And I ended up staying, and things worked out great. So she's the biggest influence.
It sounds like she influenced every piece of it.
She's a very tough woman. She's still alive today, 95 years old.
Really? I didn't want to ask, but now she's still alive today.
I'm going to see her tomorrow.
95 years old.
Yeah.
Still your mentor?
Still my mentor.
Yeah.
And she treats me like I'm 12.
She doesn't acknowledge all the credentials and all the punch lists.
That means nothing.
Nothing to her. Does she call you?
She's very proud of me, but when it comes down to things she thinks I need to know, she's going to tell me.
She'll tell you. Let me ask you, if you can, if you don't have to share this, if you don't want to, does she call you Warren, or does she have a different name for you?
She calls me Warren, and she's the one that made me go by Warren.
Okay.
Because I'm a junior.
Right.
But I was Harold my whole life growing up till I got to junior college.
Right.
And then when I went away to college, she said, "You're going to go by Warren now."
She's the one who told you.
Yeah.
I want you to go by Warren now.
If I see people that yell out my name in an airport and they say Warren, I usually don't look. I don't turn around because I just figure it's a fan or somebody. But if somebody yells Harold, I know they really know me because it's from back in the day, and I always turn around.
Pre-JUCO.
Yeah.
Is where it came from. Wow. Is there a piece of you that wants that? I'm assuming it has to, because your mom was such an influence in your life, that has to weigh on you to be that same type of parent for your children right now.
Yeah.
As the same role model, the same drive, the same. Is that there where you find yourself sometimes almost comparing yourself? Can I live those shoes, fill those shoes, if you will?
I'm so much like my mom that we butt heads because of that.
Do you?
You know, yeah. We're very deliberate in our thinking, and we're very strong in what our thoughts are.
Yeah.
So sometimes we butt heads because of that. But I also take a lot of what she taught me and try and instill it in my kids.
And your own children.
Especially when they were younger. Now they're grown and they have their own kids. So I have 8 grandkids now.
Do you do it with them too, or you just play granddad?
I try and do it with them as much as I can. They're still young, but with the ones that are older and understand, yes, I do. But not real strong like my kids, but they need to know that I'm there. And they know about my past and my history, so they understand when I come at them like that.
What was it like on that first grandchild? They say it's a big threshold, if you will, of a person's life when they're kind of shifting. I
wasn't ready for that title.
You were not ready for it. Are you ready for it now, or is it still not ready for it?
I'm ready for it now, but at the time I think I want to say I was 41 or something like that. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not ready to be called granddad. So all my grandkids call me G-Daddy.
G-Daddy. I was asking you. They call my dad
something that's a little cooler.
Yeah. He did not want to be called granddad or Papa.
No, none of that. No, I wasn't ready for that. I was still playing at that time.
Yeah, right.
You know?
So G-Daddy.
Yeah.
Is that what it is, G-Daddy?
G-Daddy.
G-Daddy.
Yeah.
And they all call you that.
They all call me that.
Okay, that's good. The last question I have for you, Warren, which is, the whole IME show, which is basically talking about, again, it's more of who you are as the person, who you are as football is what you did, but not who you are.
Right.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of fans that follow you, and even other athletes, Chris Carter, and we were talking about earlier. But when it's all said and over with, and it's all said and done, and you're at the end, I always ask every person that I interview this one question: what would you want the world to know you as? If you drummed up in one word and you said, "Remember Warren Moon as this. Warren Moon was this type of person." What would you want the world to remember you by?
Really a person that just cared about other people in a lot of different areas, whether it's in my foundation work and providing opportunities for young kids to go to college, whether it's supporting my own family, whether it's supporting extended family or friends. It doesn't matter, what it is that somebody might have needed. If I can provide it, I'm gonna help them with it, because that's kind of the way I was raised again.
I was going to ask you. I was
Everything goes back to that.
I think this goes back to somewhere.
But that's kind of who I am. And if you ask anybody that knows me, you call on me, I'm going to be just like coming into this room right now.
Right.
I was told to be here. I'm here. I didn't know what I was doing when I walked in here.
That's very Dana, though.
But if somebody says they need me to do something, I'm going to do it. And I've been supporting their foundation probably for the last 25 years. So I believe in what they're doing, and as long as I know people are doing something that's going to help others, I'm all in.
So you want the world to remember you as Warren Moon cared.
A caring person.
He's a caring person. Cared about his family, cared about your family, cared about the community, just cared. Cared about life. That's awesome. What a great memory to be by. And I would say, in the whole interview, I think that was something that you would probably say your mom would be proud of you for.
I think she would.
You grew up, and when you get old one day, and you go from G Daddy to maybe great G Daddy. One day. It's coming. They'll always remember you as Warren Moon, the man who cared.
Yeah.
Warren, I appreciate the interview, man.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome job. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.